أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to all our participants in this webinar. My name is Sana Khalid from GPF and I'm the moderator of this webinar today. Green Professionals Forum was formed with the main objective of serving the Pakistani professionals and benefiting them by sharing knowledge and expertise in various activities which could add value in their professions. The team GPF would like to extend our warm welcome to all the participants, and I would like to present you our key speaker of this webinar, Mrs. Nausheen Ashar. Mrs. Nausheen possesses a postgraduate qualification in management and leadership in education from United Kingdom and has a rich experience of over 15 years in leading positions in educational sector. She is currently serving as a principal, Pakistan Grammar High School, Lahore. She remained a principal in International School of Cordoba, Lahore, and also served in leading positions in Falcon Public School and the Crescent School in Lahore. Welcome once again and hope that all the participants will get benefit from this webinar. During the webinar, you can post your questions in Zoom chat and our team will ask questions to the speaker at the end of the presentation. Respected audience, without further delay, I pass it to Mrs. Nausheen Ashar.
Thank you so much, Sana. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the delay. Thank you for bearing the delay of yesterday due to our phone circumstances. And let's start off without any further delay. My name is Nausheen Ashar, as you already know right now, and we will be doing the webinar today on educational leadership. Now, first of all, what is educational leadership? We think about heads and management and administrations. So what it actually is, it is the process of enlisting and guiding the talents and energies of teachers, pupils, that is our students, and parents toward achieving common educational aims. That means there is a triangle in between of the teachers, of the pupils, and the parents, and the educational leadership is at the center of that triangle. Now, what is the purpose of educational leadership? The sole purpose of any learning institute in the world, regardless it's a school, a college, a university, a training center, any organization, is academic success, regardless it is anywhere in the world or at any level. And how that can be achieved? It is through process, material, and training. That means it involves the human resource, the physical resource, and plus enhancement of both the resources after an interval of time. And who are the people that we collaborate with? Those are the educators, the parents, the students, and the public policy makers. Who are the public policy makers? They are the ones that we collaborate with in the government sector regarding the national curriculum that we want the attainment targets of, we need to register our organizations with. So those are the public policy makers. Today, we're going to discuss 3 levels of leadership framework. It's going to be a beginner one, and then the intermediate and the expert level. So at the beginner level, the setting of the directions, I'm going to give these three a different name. The first one is going to be called care. The second level is called share. And the third level is called dare. You'll get to know why I'm calling all these things. So the first one is setting directions, where we'll be discussing communication. Then specifically, we're going to discuss communication at school and assertiveness. Why assertiveness? Because I think, according to my experience or what I have felt, is that we as educationists sometimes forget to say no. Sometimes we are not clear or familiar with the word of being firm, but being flexible. So that is why this topic is included over here. The next one is going to be building relationship and developing people. That will include time management, life cycle of teams, and social interaction skills. Interpersonal skills is the core of any individual. It is the core of any profession. It is the core of any relationship. And last but not least, we're going to do the guidance and the support, which will include mentoring, what a successful head is, and mettle of a mentor. So without further ado, we're going to discuss the means of education. There are three means of education that are the basic ones: the verbal one, the written one, and the silent communication, where we're neither speaking nor are we writing anything, no written document, no written task, no written orders, but still we're communicating. So the first one, the verbal communication, it can be a face-to-face communication with an individual. It can be a communication with a group of people face-to-face. It can be a formal interview with a panel or a one-to-one individual interview as well. It can be a formal presentation or a telephone conversation or a telephone conference. That is the verbal one, or even right now what we're doing is a verbal one. The written one goes on to the memos, the discussion documents, the notices, the letters, the reports, the job instructions, the posters. I will not discuss the silent one right now. We'll come to that later. Now, what are the advantages of these mediums? First, let's look at the advantages of the spoken one. The advantages of the spoken word basically is it is more natural and bureaucratic. We get to express everything. The second one, it allows personal consultation. What do you mean by personal consultation? At the spot feedback, at the spot response, at the spot whatever we are feeling right now, that can be done. It allows effective feedback as well, because we get to see the face of the person while we're getting this. Next, it enables the sharing of feelings. You're looking at their face, you're looking at their body language while you're talking. So actually you're getting the quick and the correct response of whatever you're speaking at that time. Now, what are the advantages of the written word? It allows time to say exactly what you mean. Like, I get time to think and then write down. While speaking, I need to abruptly answer or I need to abruptly reply. It provides physical evidence of checking. It is very, very important for later on. Then it can be more authoritative. We have the final word for it. And it is an economical way of circulating a number of people. Like if I speak one-to-one or I'm speaking to a group of people, it's a limited space, it's a limited time, limited people. But with a written memo or an email or a circular, I can give it to a lot of more people. How do you evaluate that your communication was effective? Now, for effective communication, it is a two-way process with responsibilities on both sides. At its simplest, communicating involves a sender transmitting a message to a target. A sender is there and then there is a receiver. So when the sender is there, at this stage, when the process is one way, when I'm sending my message to someone, I don't know if the receiver has understood it, what was the impact of the message, what happened, were there any barriers to my communication, did the other person understand me? So in order to have effective communication, we need to keep a few questions in our mind, which are right now in front of your screen. That have you identified the target correctly? Do you know whom to speak to? Do you know what effect it is going to have on that receiver? What is your message? It should be precise and short. Then whether you want it to be written or you want it to be a verbal one, what kind of feedback would you want in return? And then how will you know that the message was understood properly by the receiver? So you need to keep these things in mind more appropriately so that you know that your communication was effective. Now, communication at schools. There are three types of communications at schools that we have. We have communication with pupils, we have communication with teachers, and we have communication with parents. There is a fourth one, communication with the community. But with educational leadership right now, I've put it into a cluster of three. Why? Because we need to have effective communication at these three levels. Only then the community will come up. And since communication with community is not at all times as well, so it's easier to manage that also as well. So before we discuss the communication, the assertiveness, I would like to tell you that communication with pupils are in the form of school assemblies, your homework diary, your individual meetings, circulars, your newsletter and magazines, your school functions, your assessment reports, the report card they're sending. Then the school soft boards. Naturally, your ambience is also communication with your pupils. How do educational leaders communicate with their teachers? They have circulars, they have general staff meetings, they have after school meetings. I think we all know that what after school meetings are, because we dread about that, but believe me, that is the best quality time spent with your head and among your colleagues, because you're relaxed at that time. So that is a very important part of any meeting. Your morning briefings, your observation formats, and plus your bulletin and staff room boards. What about parents? Parents can be communicated through circulars as well as one-to-one meeting, even through phone calls. Phone calls are very important, It gives an impression to the parent that the school is involved, the school cares about your child, the school is giving you an update, the school is checking up on your child. So it's very, very important. Now, assertiveness. Basically, what is assertiveness? Assertiveness is about speaking one's mind openly and objectively without any undue emotional blackmailing or emotional stress on us. So as a whole, assertiveness is basically choosing when to speak, when to be assertive, planning how to be assertive, and selecting whom to be assertive on. So these three basic areas involves your assertiveness. Now, you remember the third one, which I told you, the non-communication part, the silent communication one. It is through your body language, how others perceive you, how they understand you, the importance of your body language. Just look at how important it is visually. The way we stand, our eye contact, the way we use our hands, the gestures, the face expressions that we are giving, it is 55% of the communication that the other person is understanding. Then the tone of your voice, that's 38%. Sometimes, we need to be firm with our parent or our teacher or even with our student, but we need to be polite as well. The tone of our voice basically gives them the impression that this is the final verdict that is coming right now. We can't debate further. We can't talk further. So you need to be careful to keep your tone very professional and very, very, very soft, but firm. And look at the content of the message percentage. It's just 7%. What does that mean now? That basically means that our message should be precise, short, and accurate, because it's only going to be 7% that the person will understand about it. Now, this is our beginner part. This was the caring part. This was our sharing part. Basically, we're sharing communicating, sharing our visions, sharing what we want, sharing what the other wants, expectations. The first part is gone by. I need you to understand the 3 steps of assertiveness before we move on to the caring part. Whenever you talk to someone, please do remember that start with empathy, that you understand, you absolutely understand what they're trying to tell you, and you know, and you feel for them. This is very, very important in a professional relationship, especially in schools. You know, educationists are dealing with emotions at all times, with children, with teachers, with parents. They're dealing with emotions at all times. So we need to have a lot of empathy with us. But we want to be assertive. We need to improvise. We need to adjust that decision for that child, for that teacher. So we suggest things. Okay. Whenever we are giving something that we need to be changed, we need to suggest. Why we need to suggest? Because you need to give them a second option as well. They need to understand that. And then you need to tell them with that second option and with the understanding of what the other person has already told you, how you're going to feel and what outcome is going to be there. Now we come off to their caring part. The sharing part is done. Now it's the caring part. Now our caring part, basically, I'm sharing with you on the screen, action-centered leadership skill. The action-centered leadership skills is basically in front of you. Now that is in front of you, and you can see it involves 3 things. It involves the individual, it involves the task, and it involves the team. What are the 3 parts? It is basically achieving the task, managing the team, and managing individuals. This is basically what is happening. How do you do this? So according to this leadership model that you're seeing right now, in order that the task is carried effectively, there needs to be identification of what, why, how, who, and how well. You need to know establishment of priorities of objectives. You need to do the planning and the implementation, and you need to do the monitoring and the review. This is when you need the task to be carried out effectively. Now, in order to maintain the team, time and resources need to be available for the team. How will they be able to do anything when we're not providing them with anything? So you need to build and maintain yourself. You need to create openness and trust. Very, very important here. You need to clarify team roles. Who is doing what? When will they do it? What is the deadline for it? Believe me, it really helps. And we always assign tasks according to the strengths and talents of our team. Then we need to resolve conflicts. Naturally, where there is human resource, there is going to be a conflict as well. So you need to resolve those conflicts very effectively and professionally. And you need to share your objectives, your vision with your team. Let them know what you feel, what you have in mind, what you want to achieve as a team together. Finally, for the team to be effective, both as a team and in completion of its task, the individual in the team, now we're coming off to the individual in the team, they need to respect each other. They need to recognize and acknowledge each other's feelings as well, because we are human beings after all. They need to be aware of their own role and what they're working on. And most important, they need to engage and participate productively. Now, a very good example for teamwork is according to the Spartans. The Spartans basically are in history, and they were famous for they were the ones who taught us teamwork in history, through history. and they have a very, very effective part in team building. What they teach us basically is, do look them up, the Spartans' history. They do teach us that we should have a strong mission. We should definitely have a strong mission. And then we should invest in the culture, the company culture, have outings, share personal experiences with your team, listen to them very carefully. Now, you can have humor as well in between. So these things are very, very important to build up the company culture, the organizational culture, very important. Another very important task is, whenever any task is given, you need to understand that you need to appreciate even the small bits of it. At times, we might be giving very small, minute, tiny changes and tasks to people who are still on the learning process. Appreciate, motivate them, celebrate success. It is very, very important in as an educational leadership, whether there are children, whether they are staff members, our teachers, our admin, our colleagues, our management, even our custodians, they feel very good when we appreciate and motivate them, and even small things are celebrated at big levels. What are the type of group members in a team? There are the leaders, then there are the followers, then there are the deviants and the isolates. Now, you might think that the deviants and the isolates may be a negative impact on your team. Not at all. The deviants are the ones I'm talking about, who we have some fun people in our team as well, and some very professional people as well. So sometimes there are people in our team who like to, jump in, have a cup of coffee, maybe bring in some food, entertainment, maybe, crack a joke in between. So those are the deviants. They like to go lighter on some part and then go back to the task again. It creates no harm in your task. Believe me, it doesn't. But it always gives a lighter and a healthier note to your team as well. So they're very, very important. The deviants are very, very important part of your team. Then the isolates. Isolates are the people who like to work alone. People who like to work alone may have a bit of social problem. Maybe social interaction is not so well. Maybe social gathering is not so well. Maybe their social skills are not so built up. So let them work in isolation, and then, slowly attach one person with them. Then if they're comfortable with one person, maybe after a time span of maybe, a week or 15 days, attach one more person, like this gradually. Remember, changes should always be gradual in small tweaks. Tweak means a small change, a small click, a small tick. When the tweaks are small, the changes are bigger and they're more effective, and people do not get disturbed. They're not, lacking behind. So isolates are also an important part of your team. Now, teamwork at a school. How do you manage a team at your school? You need to agree on goals, definitely. If you want to complete a task, if it's a function, your staff needs to agree how to do the function, when to do the function, who's going to do the function. If it's in the class, your students need to agree. So agreeing on goals, very, very important. Then you need to agree on roles. Who is going to do what? Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be the host? Who's going to be the physical, part of the group? Who's going to be writing, recording it? So you need to be very, very careful on that. Next, it's going to be on establishing your communication. Now, before you establish communication, you need to understand that decision making is very, very important. Why? Decision making is important. Why? Because we need to come down to one decision. If it is not being made, then there's chaos everywhere. So you need to agree on that also, that who's going to have the final verdict. Yes, everyone will get a chance to give in their thoughts, given their brainstorming, given their views, but one person need to have that authority. You need to establish communication for that. Then you need to work on relationships. Why? Sometimes the very active part of our group, the very active part of our school, maybe a teacher, maybe a very active student in our class goes down. So you need to work on relationships, because you need to understand why at this point that person is down. Maybe something's happening at the back end. Maybe there's some personal issue going on. Maybe they're not feeling well. Maybe they're uncomfortable with that task. So relationships need to be very, very important over here. Value and preserve trust. Why? Because when you work as a team, the other person is trusting you. They trust that you will complete it on time. They trust that you will do your task vigilantly. They trust that you are going to have fun and you are going to give the best that you can. So it's very important. And when you have managed your team at school, you need to start working on building your team. You have managed them, they're ready now. Now you need to start building your team at school. How do you build a team at school? You team them team teaching, peer teaching. I'm sharing whatever I know with you right now. We share in the classes also. We share our personal experiences also through our professional experiences. Very important. Then staff collaboration. Your staff needs to be easy working with each other. They can't be easy working only with the educational leader. They need to be easy working with each other as well. They need to be easy working with their parents. They need to be easy working with their students. So you've managed your team. You have built your team now. Now the normal implementation, the normal working of your organization, the normal tasks, the defined tasks, the special task, everything is in place and they're moving smoothly. So what is going to be your final step? Now you need to develop your team. You cannot stay at that same way. You can't be stagnant. You need to move forward. You need to take your team together and move your organization to the top. That is very, very important. So for that, you need to develop your team by developing positive team norms. You need to have some norms for your team and they need to be very, very positive. Believe me, in a world right now where we are right now, the pandemic going on, it's negativity all over, the hype, the panic, the depression. So we need to be very, very positive. Being an educational leader, you should be like a ray of positivity boosting up so that it affects all your team members. You need to have a clear sense of purpose. Why am I here? Why am I with this organization? What is my role? Why am I doing this right now? You need to be very clear. Team atmosphere should be very light. Humor should be added in. It should be fun. It should not be overstressed out. Then participation is exclusive. You need to make sure that everyone's participating. Everyone's taking part. Everyone's having a share of everything in it. Active listening. This is most important thing that we forget. Especially as human beings, I guess, we do keep talking, but we do not ask. We do not listen. We do not hear what the other person is trying to tell us. Sometimes, all we need from the other person to calm down and become active again in their task is just to listen, but we forget to do that. Civilized disagreements. Naturally, when people are working together, they're going to disagree. There should be civilized disagreement. Brainstorm on it, argue on it, discuss on it, take a second opinion so that you can reach a better decision. Consensus is preferred. 80 to 85% of your staff should agree on what is going on. 100% is an ideal situation. Wow, that would be really great. But it's not possible at all times. So 80 to 85% take off till 90%, it should be there. That should be there. It should be there. Now, the life cycle of a team. Life cycle of a team, whenever we have it in the class also, we have it in the school also, we have in a university, we have it in the college, we have it at any organization. Education basically teaches us norms. It teaches us how to understand people. It teaches us sharing. It teaches us caring for others. It teaches us interpersonal skill. So teamwork is very, very important at this level. What is the life cycle of a team? When we're building our teams at our organizations, we have the 4 stages that you're seeing right now. That starts with your forming of a team, then storming. Storming means the disagreements, the personal clashes, the emotional breakouts. That is your storming. When that is all settled down, then the norming comes up. Oh, wow. When the norming comes up, believe me, the team looks beautiful. And the output that comes out, it can be seen anywhere. Where a team has normed out, believe me, its performing is at its best and maximum. And we start off with the last one is performing. We start off with anxiety, and we don't know what's going to happen. There's lots of confusion in it, and we go on from having conflicts, and then we have mutual understanding and communication. And when we are performing, we have high levels of trust. We are flexible, we are relaxed, we are confident. All these things are there. Now, I just told you that interpersonal skills, social skills, both of these are very, very important when you are an educational leader, because we are dealing with people, human resource at all times, 24/7, regardless they're students, their parents, their teachers, there are admin staff, they're the community people. We are dealing with human resource at all times. So the social skills that we need to have within us, they're taking turns. It's not always that I need to be a leader at all times. I can be a follower too. It's okay. Maybe someone else can do it for today. No problem. That means I'm training someone for the future. I'm training leaders. I'm training educationists for the future. So see how much more I'm giving back to the community right now. Asking for help. As human beings, we can make mistakes as well. We do not know everything and anything at all points. So we need to understand, and we need to ask whom to ask and when to ask for help. Express support. Well done. Wow, superb. I'm proud of you. Very good. Support should be there. Staying on task. We start off like, for example, we have to do an open house for the school or maybe a college or a university. And we start off with staying on the task, and then all of a sudden we are diverted and someone else is doing something. Someone has gone off to pick up the food. Someone has gone off to, take a class. So you need to be very, very precise that you need to stay on your task. Check for understanding. Have they understood the task? Do you know what your role is? Do you know what's going to happen? Do you know what we expect from you? Do you know what you expect from us? Do you have that in your mind right now? Next, very important, using names. Hello. Oh, listen, you do it. I should know my team members' names. I should know my students' names. I should know my teachers' names. That gives a sense of understanding, a sense of love, a sense of support, a sense of communication. If I don't know my team members' names, that means I have not learned anything till now about them. Occupying the same space. Sometimes you need to work at the same centers. So you need to understand that this is the place that 2 or 3 people are going to work at. Pacing group work. Time slots should be given. It should be paced up correctly. Controlling anger, very important. See, when we as educational leaders are not able to get the task on time and we are answerable to someone else also, the emotions start to kick in. We start getting angry, we start getting frustrated, we do not understand what to do, we start shouting, maybe our face goes red at times when we're not able to control emotions. Very important, we need to do that. Being responsible. At the end of the day, being an educational leader, being an educationist, we are responsible. Whether we like it or do not like it, we want it, do not want it, but we are responsible for it. Then next, we need to be a good sport. We need to be a good sport, and we need to resolve conflicts. We need to adjust. We need to follow directions very precisely and include everyone in that. We need to express non-verbal encouragement, support. Pat on the back, a smile to someone. All these are non-verbal encouragement, support. We need to sit in the group. We can't be in our offices at all times. We need to be part of the group. We need to sit at the same table. Sometimes even we need to work and eat at the same table also. Contribute ideas. Someone else is talking. Give them 2 more suggestions so that they can pick up something else from it. Brainstorming. Disagreeing without criticizing people. This is very, very important. You know, we are at the top of the list when we start to criticize people. We need to criticize people in a positive sense. It should be positive criticism. Like I just explained to you, the assertiveness, show empathy, and then suggest something else. And energizing the group. Oh my God. When we have meetings, believe me, when we have meetings at our organizations, sometimes the meeting goes off to maybe 2 hours or more. It's a big event. So we have energizer in between. We just stop everything. We tell everyone to stand up and we start jumping up and down. Yes, grown-ups. It gives us, humor. It gives us activeness. Or we all take a cup of coffee and we discuss what we liked about it. So you need to energize your group. As a leader, you're responsible for this. Very, very important. Now, the caring part was done. You were communicating. The sharing part came where you build up the teams. Now the daring part is come. You've become an expert now. You're very good. You're an excellent educational leader. So you should start mentoring. What is mentoring? Mentoring is a system of using people with a lot of experience and knowledge. They advise other people at work or in an organization or profession. A simple definition of mentoring. Now, before we discuss who is a mentor, in mentoring, a mutual choice is advocated between the mentor and the protege. The relationship extends beyond professional interest. You want the other person to become something. You're passionate about the other person. It is a mutual need. It is not an evidence of threat. Do remember that. It is not an evidence of threat at all. Now, who is a mentor? A loyal friend, advisor can be a mentor. A teacher, a guide, a coach, your role model can be a mentor. A person who is entrusted with the care and education of adults as well as children can be a mentor. A person who has knowledge and expert status and who's attracted to and nurtures a person of talent and ability means he wants the person he's seeing right now in front of it. Oh my God, this person has a talent to become an educational leader. Oh my God, this person has a talent to become an academic coordinator. Oh my God, this person has a talent to become a teacher trainer. So we need to mentor them. Maybe they might not understand the talent within themselves. We need to help them out. So a mentor is someone who is willing to give away what he or she knows in a non-competitive way. Very, very important. Why? Because we think that if we start training someone else, they might become a threat to our own job. No, our place is our place. The other person is getting something in return. They will move forward. If they move forward, you are going to feel proud of it. They're going to acknowledge you as well. So it has nothing to do with your position, your skill, your job. And remember, we all know that knowledge always expands when we share it. So that is definitely very, very true. And who can be a mentor? Someone who represents skill, knowledge, virtue, and accomplishment. Someone who himself has these qualities and nurtures these qualities. Very, very important. Who is a successful school head? The head cannot be the sole spokesperson for the school. The entire staff, pupils, and the school itself must all become vehicles of information. Everyone should pitch in, everyone should share, everyone should be a part of that success and communication and the working. That is what a successful school head will become then. What are the 8 qualities of a successful school head? A shared vision, the courage to take risks, passion to do work, emotional intelligence to understand people, judgment, very, very important, resilience, basically how to do it, when to do it, the ability, the toughness, the persuasion, and the curiosity. These are the qualities. There might be hundreds of more qualities, but these are the main qualities. Mettle of a mentor. Mettle of a mentor, the ability to cope with difficulties. What is the mental? You need to understand your mentoring role. You need to initiate that relationship, whom you're going to mentor with. You need to establish a climate of peer support. You need to reflect on your teaching practices. You need to apply and share classroom strategies. You need to encourage and nurture adversity, diversity. Why? Changes are good. They're always good. You need to embrace mentoring as an investment in professional development. It is not a threat. It is an investment in your professional development. That's it for now. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nausheen.
You're welcome.
Now we would like to move towards the question and answer. Yes, Talha, you got me?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Yes, we have a couple of questions regarding today's webinar. So I'll be starting with the first question. The first question is, what key skills would a leader possess to positively assert an educational leadership?
Okay, thank you, Tala. The key skills that the person should possess is basically, first thing, very, very important. I've been repeating that, interpersonal skills, very, very important. Why? Only then you can understand people and you can build your team. And after interpersonal skills, it's going to be your communication skills. And with communication skills, you need to be a very good teacher. Before being an educational leader, you need to be an excellent teacher.
Okay, great. Another question we have here is, what kind of specific training or certification would you suggest for potential teachers to grow in leading positions in any educational sector?
Okay, now I don't think so I would suggest any specific training. Go for any available training on education and on skill trainings as well. With your educational training, you need to get the practical part, but go more for skill trainings, because with that you will develop your skills and you need that more for this.
Okay, so another question we have here is, what is the importance of goal vision of the institution or department in educational leadership?
They're very, very important. See, any organization cannot be made, they're not built without a mission and a vision statement. Always, every organization has a mission and a vision value and a statement. Why? Because only on that you know what you have and what you're working with and where you're going to go. You don't have your sense of direction, you won't be able to reach anywhere. So they're interlinked with each other.
Okay. The next question is linked with the slide. They have mentioned the slide number also.
Okay.
In slide number 16, they're asking the manager also do the same 3 things. What is the difference for the leader?
See, the difference between a manager and a leader nowadays is not so much. But speaking of on-spot point, the only difference is a leader is more of a risk taker and a decision maker, and a manager is less of it. That is the only difference. Otherwise, there's no difference at all.
Okay, great. The next question we have here is, how would you differentiate school and university leadership?
Just one thing, at school level, you're dealing with young kids. That means the grooming part is more important rather than the academic part at the starting level. And at university level, it's going to go on to the academic part along with career counseling as well. So there is the leadership difference, but you need to be a career counselor as well. At school level, that is not there.
Okay. So the last question we have probably is, what are the barriers or influences in Pakistani culture to grow for ordinary teachers to reach at the leadership level?
This is a very, I think, a diplomatic question, and I would like to give a
Yeah.
diplomatic answer. The barriers at times maybe our own selves. We are not confident. The basic thing is we are not confident about our own skills and ourselves. Believe me, if you believe in yourself, trust me, you can reach anywhere. No one is going to stop you, inshallah ta'ala. Believe on yourself. Most important.
Yes, for sure. Okay, that's from here. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Many thanks to you, Mrs. Ashar, for presenting the crux of your leadership experience in education sector, and thank you for your valuable time out of the busy schedules. This really means a lot to us.
Thank you,
And
Sana, for having me, and thank you for this opportunity.
respected audience, we would love to have your valued feedback for this event. You will be directed to a quick poll. Maybe you are watching it in front of your screen. So a quick poll that will take less than 2 minutes. Kindly submit this. If you still have any question, please write to us with your feedback. We can improve ourselves and make these kind of events a regular feature of our professionals with some more and interesting topics in future. I would like to thank you all being part of us and attending this webinar, and hope that all the participants have learned from our valued speaker and that everyone will try to implement the lessons in your professional career. Please feel free to connect with us via our website, LinkedIn, and other social media pages for our forthcoming professional events. Kindly submit your feedback poll. We are waiting for that because your feedback valued to us. We look forward to seeing you in the next webinar shortly, inshallah. Thank you once again and have a nice weekend.